Are you ready?
It's your boy, the world's most dangerous game, the world star vitamin P himself, the certified problem. Paragon. I love wrestling.
Welcome to 2023. Welcome to We Love Wrestling, our platform. You know, we talk about things that we love out here in these wrestling streets. We got a person here from the Midwest. His name, the Paragon, you heard in the beginning. A person or a thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality. A person or thing viewed as a model of excellence. We're going to find out about this excellence that he's doing out here in these wrestling streets. We have with us today the Paragon. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, baby, I am feeling vainglorious and notorious. I'm smooth as ice, twice as nice, and they never had a bad day in my damn life. I'm feeling lovely. How about yourself, player?
I'm doing all right, but you're going to be talking in these big phrases the whole time. That's what you do.
Hey, man, I can't help but be who I is.
I heard that. So the first question I always ask before we get started is, why do you love wrestling? And then I go into / what started your love for wrestling?
All right. Well, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have a love-hate relationship with wrestling. And the reason why I have that love-hate relationship with wrestling is because I feel like to survive in this business, you have to. You can't just hate the business. If you do, you're just going to be bitter and you're going to put a ceiling on your success and your longevity.
Come on.
But I feel like if you just love it, you're going to be blind to a lot of stuff and you're going to get taken advantage of. You're going to get lost in the shuffle. And once again, you're going to end up putting a ceiling on yourself. But if you can see the business for what it is, for its bad, and stray away from that, put a spotlight on it and understand that it has to come with the beast. But if you can love it for the things that it does for others and yourself, you got to be able to thrive with that love-hate relationship, especially because wrestling, and I'm going to be real with you, because I get real when I do these. I always tell people, wrestling don't love nobody. Wrestling is a beast that wants to be fed.
Come on.
So if there is no Paragon, there's going to be somebody that's going to have to still feed that Paragon beast. If there's no Trey D, they're going to find somebody to feed that beast. But the thing is, what makes us love wrestling is community. It's theatrics. It's gladiatorial fights. It is theater. It is art. It is athletics and sports. It is the perfect combination, if done right, of the ultimate storytelling. You know, and one thing that I will say I love about wrestling is wrestling brings people together that not only would have never met before, but helps people in ways you would never understand. I had a woman tell me back in early 2020, right before the pandemic happened, me sharing my story of my struggles of hardships and mental health and starting the conversation helped save her life, helped her reach out to people, helped her get help. If she didn't have wrestling as that avenue, and if no one in wrestling was willing to talk about mental health, then, you know, she would have been struggling herself. She would have been in the same boat that I was before I decided to share my story. So I love wrestling. But you asked what got me into it.
Yeah, I did.
So what got me into wrestling, I was 2 years old and my uncle sat me down to watch Monday Night Raw's War. And my uncle was like, I'm telling you, this boy right here he's going to change the game. He's the future. He's like, and then nobody in wrestling like this guy. And so he sits me down and I'm watching all these other people. But then this dude and like this bright blue and green and this Jerry curl comes out to the ring. And I just hear them go, Rocky Maivia. And I was so just engulfed. And not only the theatrics, but he just had this charisma about him. And the charisma of Dwayne The Rock, Rocky Maivia Johnson. I mean, you know, it just pulled me in. And after that moment, I became a fan. And though people kept saying it's a phase you'll grow out of, between Eddie Guerrero and keep on pushing through my love of wrestling, even to where I'm at right now. As you can see, I ain't grown out of it yet.
Who are you loving right now in wrestling? Like, when I talk to wrestlers, a lot of times it's a lot going on, so they're not really paying attention to wrestling and everything. But I always like to get into the mind and be like, is there something in wrestling right now going on that you particularly love?
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing about that. I get that very much because as a wrestler, it's hard to keep up with stuff. And also as a wrestler, sometimes you don't want to keep up with stuff because, when you start wrestling, being a fan kind of gets hurt. My thing that I love to watch in today's wrestling is people who make me watch. So like Roman Reigns makes me tune in, makes me see what's going on. Even the New Day and the Usos, the whole Bloodline and the Usos and New Day, they make me tune in. Keith Lee and Swerve make me tune in. I'm a huge Samoa Joe fan. He makes me tune in. And so it's like, those are a couple of guys that I got a lot of love for. But at the same time, though, guys like Calvin Tankman, guys like PB Smooth, guys like D Rogue, shout out to, if you know Wrestle League and if you know the Chicago area, shout out to the Shogun Chris Logan, shout out to Isaiah Bronner, my big brother. Like, shout out to Suge D. There's a lot of people, both on the indies and TV, that if you make me want to watch, I'll watch. That's just the thing is, there are people who they're great at what they do, and there's people who have this extra je ne sais quoi that makes you go, oh, I can't help but hear what's going on with you. I can't help but tune in. I can literally not watch the show, but I'm searching for that YouTube video of what this person is doing. Also, Carmelo Hayes, which when I had my braids, people kept saying I look like his Midwest little brother. So,
yo, it's kind of crazy because when I do clips and everything, I try to take a little part and just put it up and everything, and people like, yo, right on for that clip. I'm like, they like, yeah, let me know what's going on with this particular person that I'm following, and I don't really see too much. And I'm like, oh, okay. So let's revert back because you said what you love now. But how do you get started into wrestling? Your uncle sits you down, you watch it, you grow up and everything. How do you get started with wrestling?
There's a little funny story. So you know how when you're a young male and you're at home on your computer and you're home alone and ain't nobody home and you probably watching stuff you ain't got no business watching. And so I was on the home family computer and my mom came home earlier than she was supposed to, and starts unlocking the door. And she opens the door and I close the computer monitor. And she goes, get up. Get up. What you looking at? Because she's assuming I'm looking at that stuff that young boys in high school ain't supposed to be looking at. And I'm going to say I'm like a sophomore or junior in high school at this point in time. I move out the way, and she turns on the monitor expecting to see some smut. And what she sees is 14 open tabs of professional wrestling schools around the United States. And honestly, I think she would have rather it had been dirty videos. And so we sat down and had a real conversation, and she says, here's my deal with you. Give me 4 years of college. If you give me 4 years of college, and in those 4 years, you decide you still want to be a wrestler, I'll support whatever you do. So in 2017, I graduated from Ball State University, chirp. And then after graduating from Ball State, I then drove up to Centerline, Michigan to train at the House of Truth Wrestling School. I was actually the class right after Isaiah Bronner. So I got to train with him a little bit. And so I traveled up to the House of Truth Wrestling School, ran by Truth Martini, one of the greatest minds of professional wrestling. You've seen him on ROH, where he managed, the likes of Michael Elgin and Jay Lethal and everybody that was part of, the House of Truth stable. And then December 16th, 2017, I made my wrestling debut. So actually the 16th, this past 16th, made my 5-year anniversary.
But you at the Ball State for real?
Oh, yeah.
BS motherfucking you?
Indeed.
Muncie?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about it, but I was I want to say I was a senior the year they discovered the meth lab inside of the Muncie Walmart bathroom.
Yeah, I heard of it. I'm familiar with Ball State. That's why when you said it, I'm like, yo, I wonder if it's still going down the way it was when I was there. Muncie is
it's a trip.
Yeah, it's a wild place. But shout out being a BSU graduate, you know what I'm saying? Paragon. So you go to all these 14 tabs looking at wrestling schools.
Yeah.
Yo, you about that. You and your mom had a conversation. You debuted December 16, 2017. Now, when you got into it, your first year or so, if you can go back and remember, was it what you thought it would be, or did you have like some hesitance in doing it?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It was more than I thought it would be in many ways, but at the same time, I wouldn't say I had hesitancy. I got thrown into a lot of situations probably quicker than I should have been. Like I was at an ROH tryout that required you to at least have a year in the business within my first 6 months.
Mm.
So like I had only had at that point in time 25 matches under my belt, and I was already at an ROH tryout. I had been in shows that because of where I trained and apparently due to my talent and capabilities, I was being treated like a locker room leader very, very quickly in situations where I probably should have been able to be the rookie. At the end of my first year in wrestling, I was already helping people book shows. Now, granted, that may have been due to so I'm 27 now, so that may have been due to my 23 years of acting experience. That may be due to 24 years of acting experience, and maybe my film and screenwriting, background. And when it comes to, being a college student, but I got thrown into a lot very, very quickly. I got a lot of opportunities very, very quickly. And though I would like to say I rose to the occasion of all opportunities, to be realistic, I would say most. Because as you see, I wasn't on ROH TV, but but at the same time, no, I still got a lot of blessings, and I got a lot of people I got to share rooms with. Like to be able to say that Raven, the hardcore icon Raven, was such a fan of me when he saw me for the first time. He gave me his personal phone number, and he even tried to pitch me to NWA. He sent a message in front of me to Billy Corgan because he said, "This is a guy that you want to have on your roster." The fact that I could say in that first year, I got to break bread with Ron Simmons, who was an amazing cat to, get to know. So I had a lot of blessed opportunities very, very quickly. Hell, even a homie who's been a mentor to me, Congo Kong, like at times him taking me under my wing, so under his wing. So it's just like I had a lot of blessings so quickly. I think that's part of the reason why that I'm here at year 5, and people thought I had already been at year 5 a while ago. So
yeah, here at year 5. Was it match 200 we gonna talk about? Was the match 200? Because we were supposed to do this a little while ago.
Yeah, we were.
And he made okay. So just to give the people background, we had Ohio Wrestling Alliance. What I don't know the name of the show, but he faced Suge D.
Good Trouble 2.
Good Trouble 2. Was it 2 or 3?
I think it might have been 3. It might have been 3, but it was Good Trouble. That's the main.
Good Trouble. Go on IWTV, look at Good Trouble. They got them all on there. It say 2022. Watch the match. Him Suge. It got a lot of stuff on there. On the Instagram, I just put up the clip of the Genuine stuff. So when I go to events, I watch matches. I'm not a cheering type fan and everything. I'm paying attention, seeing, okay, oh, they did this. Oh, I like how this go. See Paragon. He said something to me as we're talking, and this is one of the things that I took away from this event. You said that was, I believe, your 200th match, or what you gonna call your 200th match, and you was happy to be able to do it with Suge D, one of your mentors in the business, and it was everything that you wanted the match to be. And like leaving that place, like a lot of people say stuff to me, but that was one of the things that I took with me. I was like, yo, you never know what you seeing out here when these people are in the ring and facing off with each other. It got so much other meaning to them. And then when I just be able to get a light into it, just to see a bit of it, it's always great for me. So you want to talk about that experience and how Suge D helped you with wrestling and everything?
Oh, for sure. So for the match itself, that was match 200. The pandemic shut down a lot of wrestling for me. So I honestly should be minimum at match 500 right now. But because of how much the pandemic affected both in 2020 and 2021 with a small bit in 2022, a lot of places and companies that I regularly at folded. Certain companies that I was supposed to go to couldn't afford to have me anymore because they were rebuilding. I was supposed to even go overseas. I was supposed to wrestle in Britain, Germany, and Mexico. And I was potentially going to wrestle in Australia. So like 2020 was supposed to be like my year. That's supposed to be my breakout year. And pandemic kind of put a kaput to that. But in late 2018, That's when I met Suge. And I had been a huge fan of him. Like, I told him in Ohio, we used to have this public access wrestling show. And I want to say it was like called PWO or something like that. And, you know, there was a guy named Jason Bain on there. There was a guy you may be familiar with who went to my wrestling school, Zach Gowen. Johnny Gargano was on there. And Matt Cross was on there. But then there was this black guy that would show up every once in a while. And he had this big afro and this big personality. And his name was Sugar Dunkerton. And just being able to see somebody who I could see myself in, it meant a lot to me. So when I got to meet him in 2018, before he left to go to the UK, that was a big moment for me. Because right before he left for the UK, I got to meet him. Ironically enough, while he was out there in the UK and stuff like that, he was also out there during, I believe, the shutdown. Mm-hmm. But getting to meet him and talk with him and let him know, you know, how much he meant to me and stuff like that. You know, he was pretty much like, hey, like, you know, you want some guidance? I got you, but you're going to have to show me you serious. I need to see you grinded. I'm not going to just, you know, try to take somebody under my wing that's just saying they want to be about it, because that's wasting my time and yours. And so I spent a lot of time, you know, evolving, trying to grow and try to be the best version of me that I could be. And then he and I got to reconnect in 2021. And we had a hell of a match then in 2021. It was actually for a United States Championship for a company in Indiana. And he and I were going at it. Like, I'll put it like this. I had a car accident right before me and Suge's match. I didn't realize how hurt I was until after I was done wrestling Suge. So I may have had my hand raised, but I was the one that also had to take some time off to recover. So Suge gave it to me. But I made sure it wasn't going to repeat that self when we returned that, because I also wanted to show him how much that I had grown in a year, because I also saw how much he had grown in a year. And, you know, we kept with communication. We stayed talking and stuff like that. Shoot, him, myself, and PB, we talk on a regular, you know. But even with that being said, it was one of those, when I first faced Suge, I wanted to show myself and prove to myself that I could hang with him. That was kind of what I was trying to prove the first time around. And our second match, being able to get a win on Suge was cool. But my thing was, I wanted to show I belonged in the ring with him. It's one thing to share a ring with somebody. It's nothing to belong in a ring with somebody. And so to be in front of an audience that I had already known, that had already known me, that was cool. But to be in front of an audience that this was my official debut for OWA, and to be able to have them cheering for me, to have them loving me in the ring with the caliber of someone like my mentor, not only was it great, but you saw the match. I mean, he and I had drama, we had comedy, we had singing, we had some intense, you know, strong style and technical wrestling, some power game. Like, he and I were putting everything out there. And it was truly a situation of my fuck up caught me in the end, like his fuck up last time caught him in the end. And so now we got to get that rubber match going of who's going to win the third fall. But to be able to be in that space of black wrestling and people who were fans of black wrestling. And it wasn't just black people in that audience, but to have fans of black wrestling, of wrestling in general, and the magic that I felt he and I created, that was the first match I have ever wrestled where I had no critiques for myself. Not saying that the match couldn't have been better, because there's no perfect wrestling match. And I don't care who you talk about, because everybody wants to say what their perfect wrestling match that they've seen, but I don't feel there's ever a perfect wrestling match. There's always that one moment. But that's the first time that I wrestled, and I was like, I have no qualms, because I know I left it all out there, and I had fun. Like, it rejuvenated me. Like, I started to have fun again in wrestling after that match. And I was going a long period where I just felt like I was going through the motions. That match lit a fire under me. I had fun. I was happy. That was my third match of the weekend. And it was just something that it couldn't be taken away from me. To have people after the show or coming to my merch table talking about how much they enjoyed the match, how much they enjoyed me. People in the back talking about, we didn't even know you could sing, let alone like that. You know, and just some of the silly stuff Suge and I kept doing in the match, as well as some of the serious stuff and the hard-hitting stuff. It was a moment in time where it felt like, if I never wrestled again, I'm glad that was my last match, especially with him.
Yo, just me remembering from the match, I remember I was like, yo, they out here wrestling. And you was going like move for move with Suge and everything, because I was like, y'all started with the singing, and it had the comedy in there. Then y'all went into the technical part of the match, and I'm like, okay, he hanging with Suge. They going move for move right now. Then, had a little drama. Was wondering, I thought the match was over a few times. I'm like, oh, okay, they getting it. It was a full story told in that match. And I appreciated it when I left there because I was like, y'all had one pause-worthy moment. I ain't gonna lie. We can say that they had a pause-worthy moment.
We had two pause-worthy moments, if we're being
Oh,
honest.
they did. I forgot about that when I was gonna let it slide. But yeah, they had two pause-worthy moments where I was like, all right, it's comedy, but truthfully, it's not needed. But but nah, the match overall, I had to say that. But yeah, the match overall, it was a good match. Like for that show, OWA Good Trouble, it was streaming live. I believe the first time ever. OWA was streaming on IWTV. I totally forgot. Shout out to Jinx of the Pretty Hills. Pretty Hill in it. We was in Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
She was like, we was over there chilling. She was like, yo, I gotta go see Paragon. And I'm like, I've heard the name before. I hadn't seen you, but you just told me you had an extended break during the pandemic and everything. She was like, no, I gotta go see Paragon. Paragon's here. I gotta go see him. I'm like, Paragon? I'm like, eh. So I go see him. I'm like, okay, Paragon, all the I know who. Okay, my dude here. Do you remember that bit in Florida?
Oh, I do. That was an experience because first of all, my match went so off the rails due to the referee. The referee straight up ruined my match. Like I ain't never seen a match where you roll back in the ring all the way, roll back out, and the ref keeps counting after you done broke the count. So that was already one incident. But I mean, yeah, like the camaraderie, the networking. First of all, I was there for karaoke. Like if anything, I was there for the karaoke because that was fun stuff right there. See, if y'all ain't never got a chance to hear Caprice Coleman sing on the microphone, it is a whole different experience. And the rap battle between B-Fab and everybody. So like, yeah, it was a whole different experience. I loved it. And it was actually when I got to meet you there for the first time. So every time I saw you after that, I'm like, yo, it's my dude. So yeah, I remember that one. I had fun.
Paragon, got to ask you this, man. We just ended 2022.
Yes, sir.
What's your outlook? What was your, if you look back at 2022, how you sum it up for yourself?
2022 was evolution. 2022, I would say, was the introduction to the world that was supposed to happen in 2020. To be able to say in very, very late 2021 all the way until 2022, I went from wrestling in 11 states to 16, and it would have been 18 had, weather and other things that not gotten involved. To be able to say I debuted for OVW and I got to wrestle in the state of Washington and become champion in the state of Washington. To say I got to debut for, a company in Maryland and became champion on my debuting night. To be able to say that, I was holding championships in Maryland, Indiana, and in the state of Washington. So I was holding championships from coast to coast in different time zones and area codes. So like, to be able to say I debuted in places that I didn't think was going to happen or have the chance to do it, to be able to meet people, to break bread with people, to be able to do a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't think was going to be possible due to how I felt the pandemic shifted everything. This was the reintroduction, like how Jay-Z said, allow me to reintroduce myself. Like that's what this was for me. And so 2023, you already got the introduction. You already got the intro. Now you get the album.
Oh, you get putting out the whole album in 2023, huh?
Oh, y'all see, granted, y'all get the album, but the thing is though, y'all about to get all of me. Y'all about to get the World Star and the World's Most Dangerous Game. Y'all don't just get the flashy side of Paragon. Y'all get to feel my pain and my darkness too. Y'all get to feel what it feels like to be hunted. Because I've been telling people, especially in Indiana, in Ohio, in Maryland, anywhere that I've been going to recently, especially in the Chicago area as well. For too long, I let people eat off my plate. For too long, my plate was empty and my silverware was clean, but I look at everybody else's plates. And their silverware is dirty, but their plates are full and their bellies are full. I let too many people eat off my plate. I've tried too hard to sit at a table that was built by me. And so ain't nobody getting to sit at this table unless I say they can. Don't nobody get to eat unless I say they do. If they got a problem with it, you can sit your ass at the kiddie table and do something about it. And I ain't out here. When I call myself the world's most dangerous game, I'm not hunting prey. Godzilla didn't become king of the monsters by putting fear in the people. He put fear in the monsters they fear and made them all bow. So I'm hunting predators. That's why my first match of the year is against Calvin Tankman. And I'm coming for him. Protect your neck, because I'm not going to. I said what I said.
Hey, bro. You keep saying Indiana. Where are you the champion at in Indiana?
So right now, I hold a championship at a place called Emerge Wrestling in Indiana, which honestly, in my opinion, is one of the premier companies. I also hold a championship at RCW, which is in South Bend, Indiana. And I hold the Heart of the Revolution Championship. I was holding a championship for a company called WTF that's in Carmel, Indiana. But due to injury, I got stripped of the title.
Is that the wrestling theology thing?
Yeah, that's wrestling theology. Yeah, so I have been undefeated at wrestling theology from my debut all the way until them stripping me of the title. So I technically still am undefeated there. So I've been undefeated since 2018.
Ain't no shout out to Carmel. I've seen the WTF, but I always see it like the day is happening. And I'm like, man,
yeah.
Even though Carmel's like up the street, I'll be like, nah, I ain't about to do this. And then, I got some other things, but we gonna see. We gonna pop up.
I would say if you can get out to Emerge Wrestling's Columbus, Indiana, maybe a little like an hour or so for you. But when I'm telling you, that's a show you're not gonna want to miss. It's about to be me and Calvin Tankman going for the Outbreak Championship, and I'm going to show people that I'm the only champion that matters in that company. They're supposed to be having their title unification of who's the true heavyweight champion. There ain't no discrepancies of who the Outbreak champion is. There ain't no issues of trying to figure out who's the top dog. I'm the apex. I'm the king of the mountain. I run that place. This is my hunting ground, and everybody else is just me.
You said Emerge Wrestling, Columbus, Indiana.
Yep, I want to say that is June 4th, July. I said every other date, but January 14th.
I'm looking at the card. I'm checking it out.
And they're still releasing some of the matches that are going on. And there's a post on my social media about it. There's a post on the Emerge Facebook. I posted something on Twitter. So, yeah, it's going down. Me and Calvin Tankman. The prodigal son, heavyweight hustle, returns to Emerge Wrestling just to get fed to the Panther.
Can't let you be on here talking about Tankman like that. That's my guy.
Hey, I love Tankman. I love him. But the thing is, though, I love PB too, and I beat him. I love Suge too, and I beat him too. At the end of the day, you may be my family, you may be my people, but you in my way, you get ate.
Damn.
You'll be the next pelt and the next meal. That's how I look at you.
All
right. Either be on my side or be across from me. Either way, better move.
Let's get serious then, since you're in this mood then. This is the most serious question I ask on this podcast to people.
What's that, Dan?
Let me get my book out, because I write down the responses and the answers.
Okay.
Determines how the rest of this interview go. Even though I kind of know where we about to head to, but Paragon,
yes,
have to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
The age-old question, The Rock or Stone Cold?
The Rock. And I'll give you my reason. So you mess with The Rock.
Come on.
Because I had somebody cuss me out recently because I chose Rock over Stone Cold. And I said, let me be honest with you. One, he's the reason I fell in love with wrestling to begin with back when he was Rocky Maivia. Two, everybody wants to talk about how Stone Cold was the face of the Attitude Era, but yet when he couldn't wrestle because of injuries or quote-unquote taking his ball and going home, who held down WWE while he was gone? The Rock didn't need Stone Cold. Stone Cold needed The Rock, because when there was no Stone Cold, The Rock was still The Rock. The Rock left wrestling, and who became the bigger star? And on top of that, though Stone Cold had a hell of a moment when he returned and a hell of a pop and he did the damn thing, them sells and them buys when The Rock returned to do the matches with John Cena and the matches he had with CM Punk and the matches he had, I'm just saying, like, it's no shade against Stone Cold. I'm a Stone Cold fan. But one, I'm cheering for everybody black. Cheering for everybody black. And two, when it comes down to it, it's also what somebody means to you. And to me, looking at The Rock and I'll talk about Eddie Guerrero a lot. I looked at The Rock and Eddie Guerrero as reflections of myself. Seeing a brown person who was loud, who was flashy, who was flamboyant in their own way, was somebody who was unapologetically themselves. That representation meant something to me because it told me that I could be me in this business. Because before guys like them, I kept seeing the versions of me people wanted. No shade, but I saw the Coco Bewares. I am a huge fan of Junkyard Dog, but then I saw the WWE version of, or the WWF version of him. You know, I am a huge Too Cold Scorpio fan, but then I had to see Flash Funk.
Oh, let's move on. Let's look.
No, nothing against him. What I'm saying is, you know, yeah, it's just when you always see, and not throwing shade, but when you always see the colonizers' version of us, and not our version of us. To me, it hurts not only the potential of what we can be, not just right in that moment, but in the future, but it hurts how people see us. I remember being a kid and seeing how excited I would get thinking Kofi Kingston was finally going to win the big one. I remember all of my friends who stopped watching wrestling, who tuned into WrestleMania to see Kofi versus Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah. Because
I'm saying
in 2000, in that point early in his career where we thought he was going to that title, that hurt.
It hurt, and it hurt a lot of the ways people watch wrestling. And the thing was, I have friends that even before Kofi, it was MVP and Shelton Benjamin, the guys they thought was going to do it. And then before them, it was Bobby Lashley, who, you know, Bobby and Kofi did it eventually, but they didn't do it in periods that
they should have did it.
Exactly. And so it's like you lose your fan base. One of the hardest demographics right now to get is the black woman and black people in the wrestling. And a lot of it is because it's been through hurt. I found a lot of black people got hurt by wrestling.
Yo, I would just thought about that. Before Bobby Lashley, the Booker T situation.
Because the niggas say, well, he became heavyweight champion. But the difference was they showed us that the heavyweight championship didn't matter as much as the WWE championship. They showed us that repeatedly. Or they showed us whatever brand Triple H was on, or whatever brand what title was on Raw was the one that was important. So we never got Booker T getting that big moment when it was needed and when it was necessary. And I mean, we can keep on going down the line. I mean, hell, people thought D'Lo was going to be next up.
Bruh, we could do this all day.
And that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. And so it's like when you had somebody like The Rock and you had someone like Eddie Guerrero, who were representations of a brown person, whether it be Latino or whether it be black, and they showed that you can go against character types. Even if you leaned into them some, you can still be successful, you can still thrive. And so that's why I'm just off of that alone, I'm always going to choose Rocky over Stone Cold.
There's no right or wrong answer. I just like to ask that question. I always give them the tally. We are at 9-4. When y'all watch these, it's out of place. We already asked some people. So just know the tally is 9 for The Rock as this goes along. Paragon, has been another question in my group chats going up. And, you know, I said, I'm going to ask the wrestlers when I talk to them just about, you know, grits. If you eat grits, do you put salt or do you put sugar on your grits?
You finna judge the hell out of me, man.
I'm just asking the question, brother.
I know, and I'm about to see this is where my wrestling career is. I'm sorry, black wrestling. I put sugar on my grits, and the only reason I want a disclaimer, and the reason why I say this is because I didn't get introduced to grits until my teenage years, and so I grew up on cream of wheat. And so growing up on cream of wheat, you know, you put some butter, some brown sugar in there, maybe some maple syrup, whatever. And so as I got older and I got introduced to grits, I thought, oh, this reminds me of cream of wheat. And I got so much flack. But if I'm being honest with you, I like both. Like my dad is an amazing chef. And for Christmas this year, we had a Christmas brunch and he made shrimp and grits. And when I tell you, it changed my whole perspective about savory grits. So for me, I would just say it's whatever I'm in the mood for.
See, I ain't tried to fix that up, people. But you like sweet grits? That's what it is when you put sugar in sweet grits.
I mean, yeah, because like I said, I grew up with cream of wheat. But I'm gonna be real with you though. Them shrimp, like honestly, if you ever make your way to Cleveland, all I gotta do is tell my dad, yo, I got my homie coming through. We need some brunch. And when I tell you, he will make you some white cheddar grits that will change your life with the shrimp in it. And
Oh,
this, and
not the
this.
white cheddar grits, bro.
Oh, like when I tell, like, so like my dad has owned and ran restaurants for like the last couple of years. So when I tell you, like when he be hooking stuff up, like I didn't even want to try the grits at first because I'm like, man, you putting white cheddar and this other cheeses in there, you putting this, whatever. And then I tried some. Oh, I got to have it. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing here.
My aunt did that to me one time. She was like, great, I'm gonna make these grits. I'm looking at, I'm like, you're doing way too much. All you gotta do is cook the grits, and then put some butter on them. We cool. She was like, nah, you're gonna like these. I took that first bite. I was like, oh, another plate, please. Come on with that. It's just ridiculous out here. I love it. But we are 2-1 on the grits to salt and sugar. 2 salts, 1 sugar. Just a question I'm asking. Nothing to go there against people. Paragon 2023. The people get the full album. If this is a crazy question, if you could determine, I mean, you got to take in the fact that you and you're gonna have a partner, a feature on every track.
Yeah.
How many bangers you think you're gonna have? At least if it's a 19 track album, how many bangers?
19 track album. And considering, the features that I may or may not have allowed on my album, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna shoot my shot, and I'm gonna say 16 out of 18. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm gonna do my part. It's not my job to slow down; it's your job to catch up. And on top of that, you get on an album with Kendrick, you got to come hard, or else you get left behind. Just like if you put Kendrick on your album, don't let him outdo you on your own song. And so that's my thing. I'm gonna be featured on other people's albums too, and I'm not gonna dim my light just to help you shine. Your job is to turn your light up. You feel me?
Yo.
And that's something that I would say I learned in 2022, to stop dimming my light to help others shine, but instead to keep shining my light, and hopefully my light can shine on you so you can learn to shine your damn self. Because either you're going to be another sun or you'll be the moon. But I'm not going to stop being the sun just so that way you can, feel like you need some shine. Either you can be the moon and reflect my light and you still get some shine from that, or we can be 2 suns in the exact same atmosphere, just giving light to everything.
Well, your first track is obviously a banger when you put Tankman on it and you got you.
Oh, track 2 is going to be fire too. Because track 2 is me versus Cole Radrick. So I got 2 back-to-back first-time evers.
Hey, Cole Radrick go crazy.
Oh yeah, he do. Oh, and I can tell you, I've been a fan of Cole for a long time. I've shared locker rooms with Cole many a time, and it's about damn time that someone said, you know what, let's put P in there with them. Because when I'm telling you, I'm not playing games with people. I got a whole list of people I want to share a ring with. I got a whole list of people I want to test my metal against. And to show them, you may be titanium, but I am vibranium. I'm trying to show people, I don't care what you got going on, you're not going to outshine me. You can catch a win, but you can definitely catch this L in this fade too. I don't care if you Isaiah Bronner. I don't care if you Shane Taylor. I don't care if you Mo Atlas. I don't care if you Justin Kyle. I already beat Beef. I'll take on Beef again. Like, I don't care who you are. You step across that ring from me, and I'm going to show you what I'm made of.
Man, I'm gonna ask you. He said everybody name.
Anybody can get it.
So I usually ask everybody on here if you got 3 people that you want to face on the indie scene. I feel like you just named more than 3 people, but if you had to pick 3, like, yo, I need these 3 in 2023.
All right, so these 3 in 2023 of people that have not been listed yet.
Might have just
you started something.
Yeah, might have just started something.
Your 3 in 2023.
There we go. Yep.
All right, so here's my 3 in 2023. Number 3, LaFisto.
She go crazy.
Exactly. And so that's my number 3. My number 2, he and I have been trying to make this match happen since he and I met at IWA Mid-South, and that is Jason Kincaid. So Jason Kincaid is my number 2. And see, this is where it gets hard because I got a lot of people sitting at that number 1 seat. But from Clevelander to Clevelander, I want Shane Taylor. So I want LuFisto, I want Jason Kincaid, and I want Shane Taylor. There's a lot of people I would love to share that ring with. So many people. But there's also people I want to test my mettle against. And I also want to test it against people I can definitely learn something from. And with all of those different people's experiences, all their different talents, everything they bring to the table, at the same time, I know for a fact that they ain't going to let me half step in that ring because that's going to be my ass. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want.
His 3 for 2020. His 3 for 2023. I mean, yeah, we really just started something. But he picked some names right there. You know what I'm saying? Let me switch this over. We gotta make you big real quick. This is what we call our put yourself over moment, Mr. Paragon. This is where you tell the people your social media, ways they can support you. You let them know again the things you got coming up. We just want you to put yourself over.
Well, as y'all know, this is your boy Vitamin P himself, Paragon. You can find me on TikToks, and you can find me on Twitter as THE Paragon 23, the Paragon 23. That's both on TikTok as well as you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram for _Paragon, _Paragon on Instagram. You can add me as long as you ain't creepy. You can add me on Facebook. And that'll be Paragon Christoph St. James.
We don't give that out.
We don't get it. Well,
no, I mean you can get it out, but we don't make a link for that for people. You find that's on y'all.
Oh yeah, you find that, but I do have Paragon also on my fan page as well as Tag Me In. That is my mental health platform that you can also find on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. If you look up Paragon, my link tree is up there. Shoot, I'm on OnlyFans now. Yes, I am. So there's my link tree, and that link tree that you can get to my different stores. If you want to just start a conversation, you want to just see what's going on in the world of Paragon. I'm a very open person. All I ask you to do is be respectful. If you're not respectful, either you're not going to get a reply, or I'm going to put you on blast on social media because, as you can tell, I let it run my mouth, and I got no problem running my mouth about you.
You really out here with the fans only for these people, man?
I mean, it's passive income, baby. I got what I call Tongue Fu Tutorial Tuesdays, where I show men how to take care of their women. But granted,
all right,
it ain't naughty stuff. Like, for instance, how to fold your shirt properly and put it away. How to massage that part under her bra that's been bothering her all day on her lower back. How to actually listen to what she's saying in a conversation, or at least how to fake it to sound like you listening.
Y'all go to Paragon. I ain't had nothing to do. Hey, that's all Paragon. He told y'all the link tree got the links for it all. Paragon, last question we asked before we get out of here, man. What's the one thing that's legal that you are addicted to?
Sex. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. So I am what they call straight edge. So I typically stay away from addictive things. I don't judge people who are into those things. Hell, I will make you a drink. I will sit with you while you rolling up, whatever you got to do. But when I tell you, there's a reason they call me Mr. 23 positions and 1,000 submissions. I can't help it. You know, that is my vice. Is the greatest thing I believe God created, and that is women.
You can turn this into We Love Wrestling After Dark. Let's get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's next episode.
Here, people have come to me. They like, yo, you should do like a We Love Wrestling After Dark, and like we did a pre-run that was hilarious. But you know, it was like we talking about wrestling, but you know, talk about it in that manner. Just find the right clips, and it wasn't out of line or nothing. So you might see that coming in 2023. I don't know, but that shit crazy. We Love Wrestling After Dark. You got Paragon After Dark on here telling you about everything that you need to know, everything that you want to know. Make sure y'all get on the link tree. If you're on the podcast version, the links are down there, but go to the YouTube, get all the links on there. Click like, subscribe. Make sure y'all, you got a YouTube, right? It's in your link tree, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my YouTube is also my link tree.
I've been asking people, you put your matches up, because what I've been noticing when I go to shows and I record matches and stuff, and some people, are they getting your matches to you, or if you find your match, you put it up on the YouTube so that people can follow your journey, who your fans?
That's what I'm trying to do. I have ran into issues where you have companies that hold your footage hostage. And then when they finally get you your footage, sometimes they'll give you awful footage that you embarrassed to put up, not because the match is bad, but because the person holding the camera was shaking or looking at the wrong thing and stuff like that. So for me, I'm very selective about what I post, just because when I'm posting my matches, I want to make sure that the quality looks good, that the venue looks good, that the match looks good. Because a lot of people don't understand, it does not matter if the venue looks great and the match is great. Because if you don't have nobody in the audience and the camera is pretty much showing that, then it hurts what you're trying to put out there to people. Or if you got a full audience and the match is dope, but some of the setup looks real bad, like it's just a curtain or something like that, once again, it hurts what you got going on. And then there's a third one. If the venue's great, the setup's great, the audience is there, and your match just looks like two headless chickens slap boxing, then it's just like, all right, then you just posted this for nothing. And I'm very big about being intentional. So whether it's what I do in the ring, whether I'm trying to break somebody's joints or throw somebody around, or whether I'm posting something so that way I have a reason for you to pay attention to my content. So I'm very, very intentional when it comes to that stuff.
Or if you post your stuff and you do a cool move and the crowd's there and no reaction.
Oh, man.
That kind of gets to me.
I once told somebody that there's a reason the saying is work smarter, not harder. It's not saying you can't do cool stuff, just make it mean something. You know, like I have one time gotten the same pop off of me giving someone a headlock that somebody later in the night got for doing a shooting star press. One of us is doing business wrong. It ain't me. So that's why, like, if you do something cool and the audience ain't there for it, then what was the point?
You said it. Guys, 3 in 2023. 2023, what's going to be? He already told you he dropping the album. First 2 tracks going to be fire.
I'm actually legit dropping an album, though, too.
Oh, like for real, for real?
Yeah, like I'm actually gonna drop some music coming here soon. Got some new entrance music that's gonna be coming out, and I'm gonna be actually singing and rapping on it. I'm gonna be working with Hollywood House, who's also out of the Indiana area. I'm gonna be working on some music. I might be doing a feature with Myron Reed as well. So like, yeah, we're gonna be doing some music out here. So like, y'all about to understand when I say I'm the world star, it ain't just wrestling, it ain't just music. You know, I'm not a triple threat. I'm a threat. Everything I do is a threat. You feel me?
He about to do music, people. Are you a singer turned rapper or a rapper turned singer?
Singer turned rapper. I honestly started rapping because someone challenged me. I had somebody pretty much tell me to stick to singing. And before Drake was telling people he was getting bodied by singing, like before people said that, I was like, all right, well, let's do this. You write your best 16. I'll write my best 16. We can both agree on the instrumental and we'll just go. And then we'll let the people that's here in the audience vote. And so we wrote to the 16 and the audience was there. And he said, let me go first. Because his mindset is, I'm going to write this 16 and you ain't going to want to rap no more. I'm going to embarrass you in front of everybody. And he wrote some very lazy wordplay type, rap that was low-key offbeat. So he wasn't even going with the flow of the beat and stuff like that. And some of them was like, oh, yeah, that's cold, whatever. I'm like, is it my turn yet? And so they was like, all right, yeah, go ahead. And to this day, I remember it too. And when I tell you, like, I did it, and some of his friends was told him, like, yeah, maybe you need to stop rapping or have him start writing for you. And so, like, I've been singing since before I could talk. I didn't start rapping until, like, high school. Probably even more so college.
They got bodied by a singing nigga. Get out of here before I say something I shouldn't, guys. Paragon, man, thank you again giving us this time. You know what I'm saying? Glad to get you on here. Glad to be able to do this.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on here, man. And you know what? If you ever want me back, I'm here, baby.
Hey, man, I tell everybody, we got open door policy. If you need something to get out there, you know what I'm saying? We got a little following on social media. We'll put it up for you. Make sure we put it in the story. Need something, we here. You know what I'm saying? Open door. But, yeah, we going to follow up because you in the Ohio area. So next time we come back through, have you back through, we're going to have our Ohio people on here, Nicole was at work today, but she wanted to have a combo. So, yeah, we going to get it. We going to get it together.
Right on.
Guys, again, make sure y'all click all the links podcast, YouTube. Check out the Instagram. You never know what you'll see on Instagram. So, look, I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too street. For the culture. Ooh. I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we. You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?